Welcome. I hope you all are having a very good day, man. We are here to break down the latest and greatest from the world of the NFL. It's your man, God of Dots, man. As always, like I said, hope you're having a very good day, man. As we get closer and closer to the holidays, a lot of football. Thank you to the NFL scheduling gods. Because it will be games on Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. And of course, Christmas Day. It's going to be very busy as far as the schedule is concerned. But we're going to talk about the latest and greatest and look forward as we get closer to the end of the season. I'm going to start up with some of the big news of the day. Probably the biggest news came out overnight. The Atlanta Falcons are benching Kirk Cousins and going with rookie quarterback Michael Penix Jr., a rookie quarterback who they used the first round pick on out of University of Washington. And they're Falcons said, they needed a spark, needed a change. Cousins has been 1-4 in his last 5 games, has looked atrocious, very turnover prone, has only 1 touchdown in that 5-game stretch. I'm honest with you. I'm actually surprised. How you doing, Miss Murph? It's Teresa here early as always. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm actually surprised that the Falcons went this way for several reasons. One, you typically don't see a team that's currently in a playoff race, especially in a tight playoff race, currently 1 game back of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the division crown, still with an outside shot of things kind of break the way. If they don't win the division, get into the wild card, you typically don't see teams making this decision this late in the season. 3 games left in the season. Typically, if you see a team going to a rookie who hasn't seen much playing time, hasn't started at all this season, you typically see that with bad teams. I'm looking at you, Giants. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but teams like that, teams that are firmly out of the playoff race, typically put in young guys, rookies, give them more burn, give them more playing time, kind of see what you have for the future. Like I said, I'm honestly surprised the Falcons went this route. I know Kirk Cousins has been horrible over the last 5 games, is downright putrid, but you knew that when you signed him to the big contract. That's another reason why I'm surprised that, they benching him with 3 games left in the season with the amount of money that he's making. Kirk Cousins came in 4 years, I want to say $180 million contract, big money for here. And it's a lot of guaranteed money. I want to say his cap number this year, $62 million. Like I said, you typically don't see teams going this route, especially when they're in the playoff race. The quarterback that you brought in as a free agent to possibly, get this team over the hump, get this team into the playoffs and go deeper. But we knew that. Listen, I ain't gonna say we. I knew that. I've been saying it for the longest. Hey, Kirk Cousins is a guy that can, he can get you there, but he's not gonna do nothing with you. He's what he's always been. And I want to say this to whoever his agent is. His agent is the real MVP. Kirk Cousins has made more money, and we're going to talk about the quarterback position towards the end of the show. Kirk Cousins has made more money than he honestly has deserved. His agent, mainly his agent, has found a way to game the system. I can think back to the years when he was with Washington, franchise tag after franchise tag, and just see Kirk Cousins get the kind of money. Listen, I ain't mad at you. Get your player, get your money player. But yeah, his agent needs to be in the Hall of Fame of something. He needs to be in the Hall of Fame of something. But like I said, give me just a sec. Had to give me a sip of water. Listen, his agent got to be in the Hall of Fame for something. Got to be in the Hall of Fame. But like I said, you typically don't see teams like you're only a game back. Tampa Bay is heating up, coming down the stretch. You're coming off a very ugly win against the Raiders on Monday night. And I'm going to say ugly. Kirk Cousins did have a touchdown, his first one in about 5 weeks. But I'm like I said, I'm honestly shocked that you're going with Penix. And they must like what they see in practice. I know you drafted him to be insured, with Kirk Cousins coming off of the injury. But to put him in the final 3 games of the season in a tight playoff race, can you imagine? And they're saying they're going to stick with him. We're going to see how long you're going to stick with him. If he loses, let's say, the next 2 games and you fall out of the playoff race, because you had the rookie starting it. Typically, like I said, you don't see rookies getting into this point of the season. And not in traditionally in today's NFL. Nowadays, rookie quarterbacks come in and, if they're not starting from day one, they sit on the bench for the first season. But most rookie quarterbacks, if you're that good, they're starting you. But like I said, Atlanta GM, you got to. It's a bit of a head scratcher for me. I know this was a coaching decision to try to get them over the hump, try to get them a spark. And like I said, Atlanta has talent on the offensive side of the ball. The two-headed monster, Bijan Robinson and Algier, running back Drake London, been nicked up. Kyle Pitts has been, kind of missing in action, but I think a lot of that has to do with the production coming from Kirk Cousins. Atlanta's in a tough spot. Like I said, I'm not going to say this. I don't agree with the move just for the simple fact you got 3 games left in the season. You're only a game back of Tampa Bay, and you currently hold a tiebreaker over Tampa Bay if it came down to it. Bold move. Probably one of the boldest moves of the season. I'm not gonna lie to you, probably one of the boldest moves of the season for them to pull the trigger on this. But we'll see how it kind of plays out. What's going on, Mark? Happy holidays to everybody. If I don't see you or hear you from now until then, happy holidays to you and you and yours and all that good stuff. Teresa, huh? We'll see. All right, but so let's get into the previews as we look forward to this week's coming games. Thursday's game, a very big matchup as far as the wild card is concerned. Out there in the AFC, you have the 9-5 Broncos going on the road to play a Chargers team who is currently a game back of them. Chargers firmly in control of their own destiny. Keep winning and you're in. Currently sitting at 8-6, 2-game lead over the teams that are behind them at 6-8. Talking about the Dolphins and the Bengals, who are trying to sneak into the playoffs as a 7 seed. Chargers, you own your own destiny. This matchup here, it's probably a bad matchup for the Chargers, just for the simple fact that Broncos defense tends to get after it. One of the better defenses that's been in the NFL this year. Bo Nix has played well. Has played complimentary football. It's talk out there that Bo Nix could be in a conversation for Rookie of the Year. I can't really dispute. Folks want to put him in the conversation. For me, Jaden Daniels locked it up a long time ago, but with his recent kind of slide, Bo Nix is kind of slid into that conversation. But I'm going Broncos in this one. Like typically, y'all know I picked the home team on a short week, but with the way that the Chargers offensive lines have been kind of beaten up, and the Broncos defense is known to kind of get after it. Very good secondary play, very good pass rush out there with them. I'm going defense in this one. I'm going Broncos in this one. I think Bo Nix makes just enough plays. Against a very good, and I had to look at the stats. Chargers have the best defense on paper. Had the best defense in the league this year. But with the offense, Justin Herbert getting beat up, I think he's battling the injury. He's not moving like he was a couple weeks ago. But I got Broncos in this one. I'm gonna pick the road team. It's not my usual thing. I'm picking the road team in this one. But I got Broncos in this. Broncos on a short week, take care of business with a win and a couple of things breaking their way. Go ahead and lock up their playoff spot, and it kind of just leaves the rest of the weekend to kind of play out. I know Bengals fans and Dolphins fans are hoping. They're hoping for a Broncos win. More so than anything else, because that'll bring the Chargers down to 8-7. They win, puts them a game back. Things get kind of tight. Like I said, 3 weeks left in the season. Moving on to the Saturday's game. Excuse me. Saturday game, big matchup. Texans going on the road to play the Chiefs. Chiefs still waiting for word of Patrick Mahomes is fully cleared to play. He suffered a high ankle sprain in last week's game. Texans coming in with something to prove. This is a big matchup for them, proving that, hey, we're ready to step back. And what a lot of us, including myself, thought coming into the season, that Texas was going to be one of those teams in the AFC to be talked about as far as being a tier 1 type team, a team to be looking for that has Super Bowl realistic Super Bowl aspirations. But the Texans coming off a very big win. I've been saying it all the year. CJ Stroud has kind of hit the sophomore wall. It's not been horrible, but it hasn't been to the same level it was of his rookie year. And the Chiefs, it's kind of a tough matchup to pick, because the Chiefs, despite being 13-1 best record in the NFL, just keep finding a way week after week to kind of claw out win after win. Have yet, and I think we just got to assign ourselves to, we're not going to see the traditional Kansas City Chiefs offense that we're typically known to see. This team is yet to put up 30 points in any single game this year. Defense has kind of carried them to this 13-1 record. If you're a Chiefs fan, I know you're thinking, the defense can hopefully carry you to a Super Bowl. I don't know this year with the offense being as pedestrian as it has been. It's one of the worst looking offenses when you watch the Chiefs play. Chiefs are at home in this one. I'm gonna go Chiefs in this one. Not that I have much confidence in either one of these teams as far as putting on a entertaining performance. Texans have been kind of up and down for the most part this year. Kansas City's offense has struggled to put together drives, put together points. But I got Chiefs in this one. I think the defense makes just enough plays against CJ Stroud and kind of slow down that Houston attack and gives Patrick Mahomes. But it's all dependent on if Patrick Mahomes is fully healthy. There's also talk that if things got to break their way, Patrick Mahomes may sit out a game. This may be the game that he sits out if he, his high ankle sprain is bad enough to where he's not able to move. No Chiefs slander. How you doing, beautiful? Listen, it's not slander. I'm just beautiful. Let's be honest. Kansas City has not looked like the traditional Kansas City team that we're used to seeing. Let's be honest and clear about that. They haven't looked like that. Offensively, defense has looked fantastic this year. Kansas City deserves to be, acknowledged for being 13-1. But let's be honest. I think somebody's made a deal with the devil this year because you guys keep finding ways and inexplicable ways to keep coming out on top. I don't know what else to say. You can call it slant. I'm just being honest about it. I'm being honest. But I got Chiefs in this one at home. Take care of business. Still, pressure on the Chiefs to kind of stay ahead of Buffalo. Can't afford a loss. Go ahead, lock up home field. Get those guys that need rest. Get them rest. So it's a very crucial game for Kansas City. So I got Chiefs in this one. The other side of the game, another big monster matchup. Listen, all of these games, typically be monster matchup unless they're Giants and Jags. I'm just saying, you can throw my boys, and I'm just, just being honest and let's being fair. But another monster matchup, Steelers on the road against the Ravens. Already hold a win over them, 1-game lead in that division. Pittsburgh coming off a very I wouldn't say ugly loss, but I would say a very bad showing against the Philadelphia Eagles just a week ago. Baltimore went in there and smashed the Giants last week. Baltimore has a lot to play for at home. Want to even the series. This is a divisional game. This is a rivalry. We talked about this on the KBK show prior to. Listen, if I had to travel for one particular game on the NFL schedule, this is the game I would travel for. But Steelers-Ravens matchup, because no matter what the records are, both teams kind of get after it. Whether they're in Pittsburgh or in Baltimore. Baltimore looking to get back in the divisional race. Currently, like I said, currently sit a game back, sitting comfortably. A big win for them, locks up at least a playoff berth for them. Pittsburgh wants to get the offense back on track. Russell Wilson has looked progressively better. Like I said, a bad showing against Philadelphia, but Philadelphia does have a very good defense. So I'm not going to be too down on Russell Wilson in that office. Now, I saw something on ESPN earlier today that kind of just made me wonder. Like, yeah, I understand, you need Chief looking like a veteran team that knows how to win. I wouldn't call it Mark. I wouldn't call it game management. Like, dude, the Raiders game, they win that. The first game of the season. Listen, Kansas City has found some lucky ways. Ball boinking off the upright. Listen. This has been if a team could get all the breaks in a football season, Kansas City's got them. Like I like the defense. I like how the defense has played this year, but the offense has been mid to best. Travis Kelce looked like he's distracted. Either he's distracted or Father Time has slapped him in the face. He hasn't looked right all year long. Maybe it's that Taylor Swift thing. I'm just glad that she's not on the screen all goddamn day because he ain't making no plays. I'm just being real about it. But back to the Steelers Ravens. I got Ravens in this one. Going with the home team in this one. Steelers, I think, are going to have a difficult time slowing down this Baltimore team the second time around. If you watch the first game of the season, when they did play, Baltimore was able to kind of move the ball up and down, but had some bad turnovers, drive killing penalties, that kind of stuff. Had some success against this very good Steelers defense, and in that game, the Steelers defense, did enough as far as forcing mistakes from the Baltimore. I think Baltimore kind of cleans that up in the second time playing, understanding what's at stake here. You win, playoff berth is secured. You're right back in the mix for possibly winning this division, which is one of the goals coming into the season is to win. What was predicted to be a very tough AFC North, but I got Baltimore in this one. I think Lamar Jackson. I expect a heavy dose of Derrick Henry in this game. Steelers offense, this very bad showing against Philadelphia. Not to knock them, but it's been like that. But they have looked progressively better since Russell Wilson has got in there. I will say that the passing game has opened up for Pittsburgh, but I got in a revenge game. I got Baltimore. In this one. 13-1. Listen, they're playing them closely and shut them down on defense. Here's the thing about here's like the crazy thing about Kansas City. That has concerned me, and if you listen to the show, this has concerned me all year with them. The offense has yet to establish an identity, and you typically don't see this from a Andy Reid team. You typically don't see this from an Andy Reid, especially on the offensive side. We're either going to be committed to the run, or we're going to be a team that kind of throws the ball all over the field. This you would think Andy Reid is playing with a backup quarterback because the play calling seems very pedestrian. They're not really trying to force the ball down the field, stretch it. But then the run game is not electric. I mean, it's just more. You would think he's not Patrick Mahomes. You would think he's playing. Now I don't want to put no disrespect on Patrick Mahomes' name, who I think is the best quarterback bar none in the NFL. But he's looking Kirk Cousins-ish. In regards to he's more like a game manager this season. I don't know what the issue is. Maybe it's the lack of real reliable pass catchers on the outside. I thought during the trade deadline they was going to make a play for Devontae Adams to kind of hopefully get a spark to this offense. But if you watch them against Buffalo, Buffalo looked like a clearly superior team. They look like a clear superior team, and Kansas City has had this habit of all year, almost to the point where they're playing down to the level of the competition. Had close games with the Raiders, whose season has been trash. Had a close game with the Carolina Panthers recently. They're playing down to the level of the competition. We've waited all year for Kansas City to have one of those wins where that's a typical KC win. I'm not sure if the defense. You see what happened when they got the Buffalo defense. They can only hold so much. You can only have them on the field for so long, and I don't care how good the defense is. If they're on the field a lot, eventually they will break. And that's going to be one of the worries going into the postseason. We're going to see even as we close out the regular season. They have an upcoming game. We got a Texas this week. Got an upcoming game against Pittsburgh. We're going to see. Is Kansas City going to be really built to make that very deep playoff round? I think home field is going to be critical for them. For them for sure. One, they get the first round bye. You guys rested up and that kind of stuff, and go ahead. It'd be prudent of them, to go ahead and lock up home field and start getting guys rest. But yeah, I've been concerned about KC all year. Yeah, you're winning. But when you're having close games with the Panthers and the Raiders, and if you watch those games, here's the thing: if you're watching the games, and the result is they won, but if you're watching the games, you really couldn't tell the difference between KC and Carolina. You really, it took a botch. It took a botch play by the Raiders. They had an opportunity to take that. I mean, just you're having close games with teams you shouldn't be having close games. You look this to last week. Baltimore goes to New York and does what you're supposed to do if you're a good team. Go in there and you smash teams that have no business being out on the field with you. There will always be a Cowboy hating on it. Listen, speak. It's not hate. It's not hate. You're winning. But you can't sit here with if Buffalo was to play Kansas City again, Buffalo would be the favorite. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. Buffalo will be the favorite, and that's what you kind of looking at if you're a KC fan. Like Buffalo would be the favorite in that matchup. I'm just saying, with the way that Buffalo has played this year, they've already got a dub over you. Your only loss, and they look dominant in in the fashion in which they did it. KC, I'm just concerned. Like, you win, you win. But this hasn't been a smooth smooth ride. This hasn't been a smooth ride. But let's go ahead and ride out to the rest of these previews, and we're gonna get up out of here. We talked about the Falcons to start the show, benching Kirk Cousins. I'm going with Michael Penix Jr. Good thing for him if you're going to start your first start, be at home, and then the Giants are there. But I will say this, Falcons fans, for whatever reason, I got a sneaky suspicion that the Giants, who are not, for those who are not aware, have benched DeVito and are going with Drew Lock. I just got a sneaky suspicion with the change at quarterback. I'm not sure what Michael Penix looks like on a professional level. I mean, he had a pretty good college career, but dude ain't got no snaps like that for real in the NFL. Them going to the rookie with 3 games left in the season. The Giants offense, I got Giants in this one. For whatever reason, I got Giants in this one. I'm not sure what Atlanta is expecting by benching Kirk Cousins. I don't, is Michael Penix going to come in there and expand the offense? If anything, it kind of shrinks the playbook because he is a rookie. I know Kirk Cousins has played bad, but I just I don't agree with that decision. And I got the Giants in this. I think Malik Neighbors and Wan'Dale Robinson, who have had pretty good seasons, despite the Giants having crappy quarterback play. And I think the Giants run game will be able to kind of get it going against Atlanta. And I got Giants in this one. I got Giants in this one. I think that it's like a crushing blow to the Atlanta Falcons as far as their playoff hopes are concerned. Like I said, I just don't agree with you're paying Kirk Cousins. Listen, Kirk Cousins is making $62 million this year. Let that let that marinate in your spirit. He's making $62 million this year, and you decide to put him on the bench with 3 games left in the season in a playoff race. I just don't agree with that. Looking forward to the rest of the schedule. You got Cardinals and Panthers. I got Cardinals in this one who desperately need a win to stay, not only stay in the playoff race, but also stay in the division race out there in the NFC West, which has become pretty much a 3-team race as we come down the stretch. Carolina, lost against the boys, but that was kind of a throwaway game for both teams. I'm gonna be honest with you, I was half watching it, but I got Cardinals in this one. I think they're gonna, like I said, the pressure is on them. Carolina has played pretty well over the last month or so. Have some very good showings. I would say that has some very good showings. Looking forward to what their offseason kind of looks like. Another team that's going to be looking forward for their offseason. You got the Bears at home taking off the Lions who just got shredded up by that same Buffalo team I was just talking about earlier. Detroit, if you caught yesterday's show, Detroit may be in a little bit of trouble with the injuries kind of piling up, but I think this is a game I think they got to feel confident in with the Bears, who've kind of just tailspinned. This is a team. I understand this is a team that was 4-2 earlier this year. 4-2 earlier this year, and the wheels have kind of come off. I'm not sure what kind of philosophy the interim coach is kind of instilling in there. I expect a new head coach to come in there when the season is over. Caleb Williams has shown flashes, but he's still a rookie. He's still a rookie. He's played like it. I think Detroit understand what's at stake here. Currently sitting at top the NFC due to tiebreakers, but can't afford another loss. You got Philadelphia sitting right there. You have Minnesota, who they have another game with. Also can't afford to have these kind of slip ups. I think Detroit wants home field. They want to play on their field, that track field that they have. But I think Detroit take care of business against Chicago. Spent too much time talking about the Bears any goddamn way. You got the Titans and Colts. Colts, one of those teams with an outside shot to possibly get into the playoffs in the AFC. I don't see it happening. They would need a lot of teams ahead of them to lose out. I got Colts in this one. not going to spend too much time talking about this one. Another game I'm not going to spend too much time speaking on. Had the Jets coming off a win, but they're at home playing against a Rams team who's coming in very hot. Just beat Buffalo, picked up another big win this past week. Currently sit there with the tiebreaker as far as the division is concerned is in the NFC West. Can't afford to lose a game. Jets have been a mess all year. Aaron Rodgers is making more news about what he's doing off the field than what he's doing on the field. Did have a very good game last week, but that was last week. You know, this the only time they looked like anything. And I think they're even Aaron Rodgers don't even know if he's coming back here yet next year. So I don't think they're focused on it. I think the Rams come in. Rams, if you've been following the show, listen, this was one of my sleeper teams coming to this year. You know, listen, I may not know how to, with my boys, but listen, when it comes to picking teams on the rise and slide, listen, I'm watching the games. And the Rams are going to be a very sneaky team to deal with. You know, even if they don't win the division, if they get into the playoffs, it's going to be a very sneaky team, kind of like the Packers were last year. I don't think a lot of people are appreciating what the Rams have going on out there on both sides of the ball. I mean, this is a team led by Sean McVay, who's already won a Super Bowl. Don't sleep on the Rams. Don't sleep on the Rams, but I think the Rams take care of business, understanding what's at stake. Go ahead, smash the Jets, going about their business. A very interesting game as far as the NFC East is concerned. You have the 12-2 Eagles coming off a very big win against Pittsburgh. You had the Commanders are also coming off a win. As much as I hate both of these teams, I think Philadelphia takes care of business on the road. I expect another healthy attempt and dose of Saquon Barkley, which has been the recipe for success. If Philadelphia, if you think Jalen Hurts throwing the ball 30 times a game is the recipe for long-term success, you've been smoking dope. He had a good game last week. Let's not, jump out the window. Dude didn't have like 400 yards. He only had don't sleep on the Rams, but I'm sleeping on the got a PS5. I start running some matchup. Do you play Madden? Yeah, I play on the Madden, man. I'm heavy into this year's Madden. I ain't really been into like that. I've been really into the college football just because it's been so long since it's come out, and I like the challenge of taking over like a 1-star program and rebuilding. But yeah, I'm nice on the Madden too. I mean, hell, it's the same concept, same passing and running concepts on both games. But I'm more into the college football just for the simple fact, building up rosters, recruiting, and that it's a lot more challenging to me than just signing free agents. But let's stay focused. But I got Eagles in this one. I think the Eagles defense continues to shine. JD Daniels look like he's gotten back on track on the last couple of weeks. But Commanders, even though they have something to play for, still outside shot to win the division. If Philadelphia loses out, but Philadelphia understands that, hey, they need to keep winning. If Detroit and Minnesota keep winning, to possibly get home field coming through Philadelphia, which I think will be huge for the Eagles, have home field in that weather. When you think about Minnesota, when you think about Detroit, those teams playing domes, to have those teams come outside into the element gives Philadelphia the edge when those teams don't play in those elements. And I expect Jalen Hurts to go back to doing what he was doing, throwing the ball 20, 25 times. I expect a heavy dose of Saquon in this one. And the Commanders defense hasn't, really improved, especially the secondary, Marshawn Lattimore, the addition they made at the trade deadline really hasn't played up to, his standard of play, which is Pro Bowl type. But, he's battling injury this year, so I'll give him a little slack on that. But I got Eagles in this one. Looking forward to the rest of the week. You got Browns and Bengals. Bengals, I think, I'm picking Bengals in this one just for the simple fact, Joe Burrow and that offense can get going, and they've shown it all year long. They can score on anybody. And Jameis Winston, as much as I love him, I think the team is going to go to DTR maybe a little bit, this game to kind of see what he has as we kind of close out the season. But Jameis Winston, if he starts to hold, listen, as much as he makes, a wild play, he'll like what he'll make the next throw up like, what the hell was you looking at? Who's my pick for MVP? Okay, yeah, I got you, man. Who I got for my MVP? If I had to pick, and the only reason I'm picking, I got Josh Allen as my MVP right now, but I think it's going to be based. I think how these teams end the season as far as win-loss record is going to be a very big part of it. If let's say him and Lamar end with the same, I think it's two-man race unless Saquon breaks the record, then you have to kind of put him, in there. But it's MVP is typically a quarterback award. Josh Allen has had a fantastic season. Lamar Jackson has had a fantastic season, but I think Lamar is going to lose some votes due to voter fatigue. Because he just won MVP last year. He's constantly in the MVP conversation when he's healthy. And then the simple fact that you had Derrick Henry back there, who's currently, I want to say, second in the league in rushing, who's had a fantastic Pro Bowl type year. So he's going to lose some votes like that. When you kind of look at Buffalo, Josh Allen is, the driving force behind how that offense kind of clicks. James Cook's had a pretty good year, but you can't look at Buffalo with the season they have with the two signature wins that they do have. You're talking about beating Kansas City, giving them the only loss. What's going on, Triggs? Then beating Detroit in the fashion that they've done it, and when you watch both games, like I said, you just watch the games, and if you don't have any bias about the teams, when you watch the game, Buffalo has looked like the best team on the field in those games. So I think Josh Allen right now is very slight lead, but if Buffalo falls off a cliff, Lamar goes out there, continue to perform at the level that he's known and capable. Like he's got, when you look at the stats, he's having a better year this year than last year. But what helped him immensely last year was Baltimore had the best record in the NFL by a country mile. When you look at it this year, you're fighting for your playoff lives. Your playoff spot is not, you haven't clinched. So I think that's going to be part of the equation. If Buffalo continues on the track that they're on, let's say Buffalo ends up, if things kind of break their way, ends up with the top seed in the AFC. I think that locks it up for Josh Allen. But it's been a very interesting MVP race. Jared Goff, I think, is going to get some votes in regards to the MVP with the season that he's had. Of course, the Eagles keep winning. Saquon's going to have to get some consideration. I think he's off the pace for breaking the record, but you never know. He can go for 200 plus in a game, which he's done already this season. So but if I had, just narrow it down to who I think is going to win, Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen is, like I said, he's cleaned up the turnovers. He's improved in that department. So I got Josh Allen for my MVP. But let me kind of get into the rest of the week's games, and before we got to get up out of here. Big game also, like I said, a lot of big games this coming weekend. You got Vikings on the road against the Seahawks who desperately need a win to stay in lockstep with the Rams as far as the NFC West is concerned. Seattle also needs a win in the event that they don't get it. Their playoff spot is not solidified just yet. They have not clinched a position. Minnesota also has a lot to play for. Once they want that game that they have against Detroit later towards the end of the season to mean something. Currently sitting there at 12-2 in a tie record wise with Detroit, but Detroit holds the tiebreaker due to the win. Vikings have a lot to play for, and for that reason, I'm picking Vikings in this one. Listen, the Seahawks, if you listen, I have struggled picking Seahawks games because I don't know what I'm getting from time to time. This is a team. When you ask somebody, what's when you think of a team, what stands out to you? Like when I think of Philadelphia, I'm thinking the running attack. When I think Pittsburgh, I think defense. When I talk about the Seahawks, I don't know. You got talent on the outside, but you're not really a prolific passing team. You got some pieces on the defensive side of the ball, but this is not the Legion of Boom. I don't know what to make of the Seahawks from week to week to week to week to week. Geno Smith, he'll look like a Pro Bowl quarterback one week. and then the next week he'll look like a guy that look like he's filling in for somebody. I don't know. I'm gonna go with the certainty here. I know Minnesota has a very good defense. Sam Darnold has played well this year. I think he's going to land himself a very big contract. Minnesota has a big decision to make this upcoming offseason. Win, lose, or draw in regards to Sam Darnold. I think it's going to be a very important decision for the future of that franchise. But I got Vikings in this one. I just Seahawks. I just can't. It's so hard to pick them. So hard to pick them. Now, let me kind of make it my next pick of an easy one. You got Bills at home, Patriots. I like what I've seen from Drake May, despite New England. It's one of those situations where you just don't have the talent. And I think Buffalo understands the assignment, takes care of business at home. I don't expect this game to be close at all. Probably the race for number one for those teams that are those people that are really into the draft and that kind of stuff. Probably the biggest game of the week for you guys is Jaguars and Raiders, who are currently two teams sitting there. Two teams sitting there in the top five. As far as the draft is concerned, Raiders, I would assume, want to keep losing out, so they stay in lockstep with the Giants for possibly that number one overall pick. Moving on, I got Raiders. I got Raiders. I got Raiders. Another game. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna spend too much time focusing on. You got 49ers, who I think their season is pretty much done unless everybody above them kind of falls off a cliff. Taking on the Dolphins, who are also in a similar situation. Both teams sitting at 6-8. Both teams need a win to keep any hopes for the playoffs alive. I got Dolphins in this one. This far, I think Dolphins have played a lot more consistently over the past month, even though they didn't look too good in their last game. But the 49ers look like a team that's in disarray with the injuries, guys in and out of the lineup, and then the Devondre Campbell stuff. It lets me know that this is a team in disarray that's got some issues they got to clean up, and probably didn't have to do that in the offseason. I got Dolphins in this one. Jesus Christ, I finally got to the Cowboys game. How the hell do we end up on a Sunday night? Oh, God. I got Bucks in this one. I think Tampa Bay's offense is going to be able to kind of put up points against Dallas. Dallas has shown some life over the last couple of weeks, but listen, I'm not one of those people that's going to like, yeah, we can hold out if we win out and everybody above us lose out. I ain't doing that. I'm not here to sell your false hope. I got Bucks in this one. I think Bucks offense is going to be able to kind of, like I said, move the ball. Baker Mayfield has played fantastic this year. I expect him to be in heavy consideration for another Pro Bowl nod. I think Mike Williams, especially with the injuries that the Cowboys have had in the secondary, I think Mike Williams is going to have a very big day. Prime time, Buccaneers understand the assignment. Still feel the pressure. With Atlanta currently sending the game back from them. The playoff, they haven't clinched anything either. So I think Buccaneers take care of business on the road, and Dallas has been trash at home. Yeah, I got Bucks in this one. And as we kind of close out the Monday night game, got Saints on the road against the Packers. I got Packers taking care of business there. They've already kind of clinched their playoff spot, unless Minnesota and Detroit crash out. Their hopes of winning the division are over. I think the Packers are looking forward. Preparing. I might see them rest some guys coming down the stretch, understanding that their position as far as seeding is concerned is kind of locked up. But yeah, that's about it. Like I said, a very nice slate of games starting with Thursday. You got Thursday, you got Saturday, you got Sunday, you got Monday. Listen, it's gonna be football galore. Let me look at next week. Peek at next week raw games. You got the Wednesday games, the Netflix games. We'll talk about that next week. You got the Wednesday game, you got Thursday game, you got Saturday, you got Sunday, and listen, it's a lot of football coming up before the new year as we get closer to the end of the season. Appreciate everybody for taking the time out to listen to little old me. And let me put this up real quick. Don't ever get it twisted. Don't ever get it twisted. I'm still Cowboys, man, but when I'm doing the show, I got to call it like I see it. I had some people to kind of hit me up talking about what's up with all the Cowboy hate. Listen, it's not hate. You just need a reality check. I'm just saying. when we're bad, and I'm gonna call it like I call it. Just remember, man, what what they hate in you ain't in them. And then you offer the phrase that pays over here as always. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but every time you learn. And I'm out.